Hello, dear friends. This is Kardec Radio in Lilydale. Yes, we are here for the second Spiritist weekend in this beautiful exchange with our spiritualist family. Yes, it's been 14 years that we have been coming here. The first time was July 4th, 2004. And then in 2006, we had our first Spiritist Spiritualist exchange. It was really beautiful and still is. And Lilydale is expanding year after year, expanding in the sense of its connection. More than 22,000 people visit Lilydale yearly. And they have their summer season welcoming people from all over the world, not only to teach about spirituality in all of its facets, but also to welcome people who want to know more about spirituality. And we have here with us the first friend we made and our eternal friend, as John De Rosa says, Tom Cratsley. He is here with us. Thank you, Tom.
Yeah, it's nice to be with you again,
Yes,
Vanessa.
thank you so much. You know, we were just talking about how many years we've been in touch. How many times also you have come
Yes,
to Spiritist centers. And he was present as the keynote speaker of the
Lauderdale conference.
the 10th, no, it was the fourth U.S. Spiritist Symposium. And so we have exchanged and have been communicating, and finally we're back here with the Spiritist family, represented by a few of us, to exchange, Tom. So tell us about your feelings. You've met Divaldo Franco. You helped him heal from a cough, I remember, right?
Yeah. Well, Spirit did that. Not me. It was an honor just to be around him and near him and just be open to the energy that Spirit wanted to give him at that moment. And knowing him I had opportunity to spend like 3 days when he was here, on and off, and for me, he's probably one of the highest energies I've ever in a person that I have ever experienced, and truly a spiritual model for all of us in how he holds himself and how he's constantly in the presence of his true spiritual heart, which is always radiating. I never saw it not radiating. It was a wonderful privilege, and of course I've never forgotten it. And he's always in the back of my mind when I think that I'm going through something tough or something. And I think, boy, I've done nothing compared to this man.
It's so funny you're saying this because for those who are not acquainted, in 2006, when Divaldo Franco came here, his flight delayed. And after 24 hours from one connection to the next, he came here. And we remember Tom and I and other friends were waiting for him at the Buffalo airport. And how did he look?
I mean, he looked like he just stepped out of the shower. It was ridiculous. And he was beaming. Oh, it's like.
And he was not a teenager, by the way.
Oh, no,
right? He was
70
already,
years old at least.
He was like 80. He's 91 now.
Oh, yeah.
He was 78 at the time. He was 78 at the time. And Tom was impressed, everybody. And then he had the lunch with us. And then he was here for a phenomenal weekend. But Divaldo had like this little cough somewhere. And then we brought him to the Healing Temple. Tom Cratsley is the teacher who every season and throughout the year teaches people about what we call in Spiritism the passes, but in spiritualism it's called the healing. It's different, but it's the same purpose. And Divaldo came to the Healing Temple, and Tom very kindly applied the healing on him After that, Divaldo didn't cough any longer. So Divaldo, at his workshop, he spontaneously mentioned how he was blessed throughout the process of receiving healing from Tom. So there's a beautiful connection between Divaldo Franco, Tom Cratsley, and the spiritualist family. Though Divaldo cannot be here today with us, he sent messages,
And a
blessing.
butterfly has
You
just appeared.
see a butterfly. Let me show to you. This is Lake Erie, right?
No,
No,
this
no.
is Casadega Lake.
Casadega Lake connected to the Erie
Yes.
Lake.
But
So,
as you were talking about
there
Divaldo,
was
a
a
butterfly
butterfly.
flew by.
Flew by, and we know nature is with us, communicating with us. But Tom, this exchange between, I know we had you at Kardec, we had other times in which we communicated about your impressions on Spiritism and the Spiritist connection with spiritualism. And now, I remember last year when you called me and you said, you know, Lily Dale wants the Spiritists to come back, and now we're one of the season highlights. We come back to share more. So tell us a little bit why you think it's important that we exchange our experiences, our knowledge, etc.
Well, for me, a big part of spirit, there are many people drawn to spiritualism, first of all, just for the phenomena to get started. And thankfully, for the most part, in order to stay with it, you've got to go further than the phenomena, you know.
Yeah.
But so often, it doesn't it doesn't come through to the public that it's a deep that the meaning is deeper. You know that it's really about total spiritual evolution and growth and well-being, and how what I love about Spiritism is how there's a significant focus on what the Bible calls the fruit of the Spirit. Love, joy, peace, patience, goodness. These are the great things that make life richer and fuller. And as those things are nurtured, the gifts come along with it. You know, and even as they say, seek first the kingdom of God. I feel as though I love the balance that Spiritism puts in in the spiritual growth that way. And it feels like that's where the emphasis is. And my great teacher, although he wasn't, I never known him on the earth plane, is Andrew Jackson Davis and his teachings. And basically, he was about that side of things, about the principles of life, you know, and living by those high principles.
That's beautiful. By the way, I'll never forget, as you mentioned Andrew Jackson Davis, I'll never forget when Divaldo Franco was here, Maria Gertrudis and friends, we were visiting the Lily Dale Museum. In that museum, there are things since the Fox sisters' time, right?
Yes. Oh, yes.
And so that's a place that you want to visit. You want to pay a visit during summer season because it's not cold, there's no snow. And you come here to visit Lilydale, to pay a visit to the Healing Temple, to relax. That's a retreat place also to recharge. As Divaldo Franco said, it's a place that is closer to the higher spheres for so many reasons, but especially because people who live here, they believe in the continuity of life. That makes a difference. And they cherish this understanding that we are temporarily on the earth. So there is a museum here, though it seems small, but it's so rich. It contains the history of a whole lot that means to humankind for spiritualists and spiritists. And we were there with Divaldo Franco, and then he starts channeling information, mentioning about the presence of the renowned forerunner of spiritualism, spiritism, Andrew Jackson Davis. And Divaldo mentioned how much he is a mentor in Tom Cratsley's life. And Tom Cratsley is one of the few who actually knows a whole lot about Andrew Jackson Davis. Last year, the Inner Enlightenment Spiritist Society, right, in New York, they came to pay a visit, and they had a special workshop with Tom when he was teaching more about Andrew Jackson Davis. So you see, there is so much for us. As the Spirit said in the Spiritist literature, we need to love one another, but instruction is of the essence. Without instruction, we cannot shoo away the ignorance, the lack of knowledge. The more we know of this spiritual reality, the things that happen in true life, the real life, the life of the Spirit, the better we're gonna live, because the little bug bites of daily life will just mean a passing pain, and then we will recharge ourselves and do what we need to do and not miss the boat. Talking about a beautiful lake, don't miss the boat of life. Right? Right, Tom?
Yes, that's good.
The boat of life.
Perfect.
We can't miss it. Many people are forgetting the boats are passing by. They need to go on board and, sail safely in life. So this connection between spiritism and spiritualism is so precious that there is a message. I remember when we started the first season, Dr. Alexander Moreira from Brazil came here, a psychiatrist who is doing beautiful works, really revolutionizing the field of psychiatry with his studies and his leading efforts in spirituality and psychiatry. He came here and he said, Vanessa, I found this message, I translated it, and then he brought the message where Kardec was saying, the day Spiritism and spiritualism talk about reincarnation in the same room, that's the beginning of a new era. And it precisely was that day, because our workshop was on reincarnation. You remember that day?
Yes, yes.
So it was very meaningful for all of us. It was very precious. And what are you expecting from this season, the season of the season in which is those days, the Spiritists in Lilydale? It starts today at 2 p.m. and it ends on Saturday. We have 5 workshops. What do you think you're expecting in other spiritualist friends?
You know what? I'm just expecting a lot of inspiration, that people are going to feel inspired and healed and, and informed as well. But, to me, it's all about the inspiration and the healing and to see that there are just so many ways in which Spirit reaches down to connect with us if we only open ourselves to it.
You see, Tom Cratsley lived his life according to what he's saying. And we often are so distant from it that without the inspiration, without the mentorship, without this fluid connection that happens to us all the time. So it's an invitation for you. We are going to keep informing you as we start these moments together in the interaction between Spiritists and spiritualists. At the end of the day, we're all children of God. There is no label, but just the heirs of the universe with God, co-creating with Him. But we'll keep informing you, sharing the good news. But just as a final moment, just breathe in and out and take a look at this magical place that God is keeping sacred on the earth. Take a look. You want to see more? Come here to Lilydale, if not this year, next year, and so on and so forth. If you have questions or comments, write to us, because we can pass it on to Tom Cratsley or others, or go to the lilydaleassembly.org website to get to know more information about this heavenly place on earth. Thank you, friends, and until next time.